With that being said, I've gotten word that we are ready for our next run, so it is my pleasure to introduce Purple Tissue Box with the original Shantae. So please take it away and good luck.
Alright, hello everyone. My name is Purple Tissue Box, and joining me this afternoon is my wonderful co-commentator, Winterbit. Today we will be bringing you Shantae, the original Shantae on the Game Boy Color, in hopefully a little bit over an hour. This game was very sadly released in 2002, which is after the Game Boy thing, so it was almost dead on arrival, but I had a lot of fun playing this Hidden Gem for the first time, and even more fun speedrunning it. A little bit about me, I have been playing this game for almost 2 years now, and been loving every second of it. Current world record holder, joined by a former world record holder, so why don't you tell us about yourself real quick?
Yeah, I discovered this game in early 2018, and how should I put this? I kind of discovered a new route that shaved a couple minutes off the run, and it's still basically the same route we use today. We used to go in a different direction, and yeah, I actually ran this game in GDQX and a couple other marathons in late 2018, early 19. So yeah, I have a little bit of history with this game, and it's I'm just really happy to be here. It has a little bit of everything.
Oh yeah.
I'm really excited to show it to you. There's like, I don't want to spoil too much, but pretty much every speed trick that you've heard of is probably in this game, just in some way.
Yeah, so it's a really fun time. We're really happy to show it off to you. So let's go ahead and get started. The timing starts as soon as you hit A on file select, which is in 3, 2, 1,
Good luck.
go. Thank you. Alright, so starting off here, in this game we play as half genie girl Shantae, who lives in her lighthouse and watches over the nearby city, Scuttletown, till one day Scuttletown is under attack by some pirates, so it's up to us to figure out what's going on, save the day.
These fireballs, these cannonballs are RNG, so where they land, except for a few predetermined points, is completely random, so you have to react pretty quickly.
Second down already. And just for fun, every minute I finish the speedrun slower than a 102, I'm gonna donate $10. So though that half a second, that's a couple pennies already.
So yeah, as Purple said, this game was released in 2002. It was actually finished a lot sooner than that, but unfortunately, they couldn't find a publisher. So eventually Capcom came on board, but as Purple mentioned, it was already partway into the Game Boy Advance life cycle, so unfortunately not that popular of a game at the time of release. It only produced about 20k copies.
Because now that we're getting into the game proper, so we have kind of a 2D side-scrolling action, gotta hit him with the tack. The game looks and sounds gorgeous. They really pulled out all the stops with the Game Boy Color technology for this one.
It really is a work of art. It's a masterpiece.
And it's just as fun to play too. Mario wishes he could accelerate as fast after this, you have full control over all your jumps, so you can use it to do some pretty tight, like once you start to optimize this game, you have to be really on top of where you're jumping, where you're moving, where the enemies are.
Yeah, for real.
The animations in this game, they're all really fantastic. However, that does mean they tend to be a bit long, so we're trying not to see that attack animation as much as we can. So there's a lot of avoiding enemies that we have to do.
And that beautiful rock wall, and just now seeing that on my end. It is a tight cycle to make. So, let's talk about the plot of the game a little bit. You might notice that these creatures, they're called Tinkerbats, working for the main nemesis of this game, Risky Boots the Lady Pirate, have stolen a steam engine. The steam engine is brand new technology to this civilization, and it can very easily be used for evil, and that's exactly what Risky Boots wants to do.
Let's go.
She wants to produce the world's largest super weapon, essentially. So we have to stop her. And yeah, that jump onto the roof there was frame perfect.
Yeah, there's a lot of frame perfect stuff in not just this Shantae.
Oh yeah, there's a specific category in this game's sequel, Risky's Revenge for the DS, that has a double frame perfect trick. And it's right near the end of the run. Fortunately, the run's only 20 minutes long. It's great. Alright, so this is our first boss fight.
Yeah, this intro section is not too entertaining. It's kind of just a linear side-scrolling segment.
It's a good tutorial level.
But after one more cutscene, we're going to be in like the overworld proper, and then the game really opens up. It turns into almost like a Metroidvania.
Yeah, and despite it being small, it does pack quite a bit of backtracking into it. When you're playing this game casually, you will, it's not a question, you will get lost. And you will wonder what the heck you're doing. So the minimizing backtracking is a huge part of this run. And it's the main thing that I cut down a little bit.
All of the cool tricks that we do, all of the really clever routing and decision making is the only purpose is to cut down on that backtracking.
Yeah, and as we get into the story of the game a little bit here, we already pretty much explained the plot, and at its bare bones. Look for bootleg Shantae in the crowd, by the way. So the backtracking.
Yeah, the text in this game is something. It's like a speech jammer. You gotta focus up and text on the screen.
Whenever there's text on screen, you have to hold B until it's done, and then as soon as it's finished, you let go of B and press B again. So you really have to memorize the dialogue, you gotta know exactly what you're doing. As a matter of fact, Purple was talking about, I was essentially able to remove nearly 2 minutes off the run just from optimal text skipping. There's a lot of text in this run.
Alright, we got a really neat parallax scrolling town here, and then boom, we're off. We're into the overworld. So, sorry to interrupt you, the format of this game, real fast. We have 4 magical relics that are hidden inside 4 labyrinths that are scattered throughout the overworld. So, in order to get into those labyrinths, we have to go visit a nearby town so we can see one of Shantae's friends, and then her friends are going to open up the labyrinth for us. So, our first stop is the Dribble Fountain, which is over here on the right. And I'd like to enter the Dribble Fountain with 2 hearts, but these enemies are RNG. Luckily, I've made it out there with just exactly what I want to be.
Yeah, there's, what are they called, dirt dogs?
Dirt dogs.
They
Dirt
are,
devils,
yeah, they're not pleasant.
You notice that I took a death right at the end of that boss fight, and the reason for that is the second dungeon, or second labyrinth, excuse me. We're going to the right now to go to the first one. The second one's all the way on the left. So we're gonna have to go all the way to the left, and guess what number 3 is? That's right. All the way back over here to the right. So I'm actually gonna get a game over halfway through this run in order to warp all the way back to Watertown, which is coming up on the other side of this waterfall section. And because of that game over, that means I have to pay extra careful attention to how many lives I have and also how much health I can have, because you need to be ready to die exactly when you're supposed to. So anytime I can die without losing time, such as during that intro section, I'm gonna take it.
Yeah, it's kind of the cornerstone of this run. Not only do you have to get a game over halfway through, but you also have to make a night cycle a little bit later, which is required in order to enter one of the towns.
I've not been playing especially clean during this waterfall screen. This screen is really tough. Any vertical section is really, because like I said, you have full control over your jump height, so if you're trying to play optimally, it's a big challenge. So here we've made it to Watertown. I'm gonna pop in the save room real quick. Turns out, you don't even need to save the game. Entering the save room is sufficient, so now we have set that as our last visited save room, and we'll warp right back over here as soon as we get that game over.
It's a very convenient system that I didn't know about for a long time. So we should probably touch on a little bit more about how backtracking works and how we're going to circumvent that. So the main tool that you're supposed to use to be able to quick travel in this game, since, as Purple said, the towns you have to visit are all the way left, all the way right, all the way left, just back and forth like that.
Over, not the intended form of travel.
Surprisingly. But in every labyrinth, there are what are called warp squids. And you're supposed to collect 4 warp squids to place in a dedicated warp squid hut in any town that you choose. And once you have done that, you'll get a special method for fast traveling back to that town. And so what you normally do is collect 4 warp squids and then place them all in Oasis Town, which is the farthest town to the left that you're going to be visiting in the first half of the run. However, thanks to some of my past work with past strats that I incorporated into this game, we've been able to take the number of squids down from 4 to 1. We'll explain that a little bit more in detail when we get there.
Yeah, so in the meantime, you saw the night cycle triggered during that last waterfall. That'll be important later. And we're also entering our first labyrinths in the game. And these are set up a lot like dungeons in Zelda. So we've gone from that big, sprawling overworld to now the rooms are much smaller, they're much more compartmentalized. We have keys that we need to collect to open locked doors. Like Winter said, we have warp squids, other little goodies. And then, just like your dungeon item in Zelda, halfway through, you'll get a transformation dance, which will allow Shantae to turn into different animals.
Yep, and we're also going to be
to finish out the rest of to finish out the dungeon, and then use that to traverse the overworld to get to the next one.
Yep, and the first transformation dance that we're going to be getting is arguably the most useful mobility-wise.
There's our warp squid as well.
Yeah.
So that's like the tutorial warp squid. The game needs to tell you that they exist before you go hunting for them. So, fortunately, that's the only one we're going to need in this run. And it's just chilling right there in our way. Yeah. A very humble entrance, but a very important one.
So we are also going to need to collect a few shekels. What are they called? Rupees in this game. Gems.
Gems.
Right.
I call them rupees
That's
'cause I
totally
used to
fair.
speedrun Zelda. Yeah, so with those, with the gems, not the rupees, you can use them to buy items. But the items are not like Zelda items that are important. They're more like Castlevania items. They're like little bonus weapons that you can use. So only a couple of them will be useful for the speedrun. So I am going to be picking up some cash as I traverse the river.
Yeah, there are not all that many useful items, but the ones that are useful really just kind of bust this run wide open.
I'm actually going to start killing these guys because I'm scared I don't have enough health. And like I said, you take one hit in the wrong spot and your entire run is ruined. Alright, half a heart. That was cutting it a little close there. It also got me an extra $5. That's neat.
Yeah.
Oh, that's not really money. So we have these little real puzzles. You have to line up the symbols according to what you see on the wall a little bit earlier. They're completely random, so doing them fast is a real challenge. Even if you think you're quick on your feet, try counting octopus, squid, fish in your head.
Yeah, I used to have a system for that. For snail, I would just tell myself 1, fish was 2, and squid was 3, so I would just give myself a number. And try to remember that number for over a minute.
So in this next room, we try to spin the wheels one more time, try to do that little puzzle, but unfortunately it's broken, so we gotta go fix that pillar real fast. I'm hanging out in a half a heart here, which is a little scary, but
You got this.
it's not a problem. Alright, this guy's nice to me.
Yeah, those wetmen can have some pretty nasty RNG.
Yeah, so that big climb I just did all the way up those platforms that zap you, and the ones that go in and out of the wall, you're on a big cycle, so it's really annoying. So hopefully I'm only gonna have to do that climb one time. I'm gonna, again, anytime I can take a death and not lose time is a death I'm gonna take, so I'm gonna die to end up whipping back to that room at the top. And didn't get trolled by these enemies in this cavern, or in this tunnel, I guess, so that's a good sign. That's alright, that one was a lot faster than the last one. So take our death, go right back to the top. With the key we just grabbed, we use it to get our first transformation dance.
That's another neat use of temporary checkpoints, is that you can warp to the top of that screen. I'm not sure if we ever use that again in the run, so that's an example of a once and done.
More important places to die.
There are so many little tricks in this game. So many little optimizations.
The optimizations, those were really tough. That's more, I wish I could say I had a bigger hand in doing the big fancy route, but it's really just optimize. So now we got a monkey dance. You notice we've been talking to this Guardian Genie for a really long time, so I'd love to be able to cut that out later in the run.
Oh gosh, wouldn't that be wonderful?
And so we play the world's easiest rhythm game, hit 2 notes, and now we're in monkey form. In monkey form, Shantae jumps a lot higher, and now she can also grab walls. Her hitbox is also smaller, as a nice little bonus.
Yeah, the only real drawback to a monkey is that, for one, you can't attack in monkey form. You have to find a special pickup on the overworld for
Yeah, you
that.
also get stuck on the ceiling all the time.
You do.
Well, I do.
And whenever you're jumping with monkey, your momentum is preserved, which means you can't just simply stop in midair on the dime like Shantae can.
Yeah.
So it's a little difficult to control.
World's laggiest room right there. We're coming into our first boss. I gotta focus up for this one. Pardon me for 1 minute.
nicely done. That is a very tricky fight.
Yeah, you miss too many hits. You miss one hit too many. He's going way up in the ceiling. He's using tidal wave attacks. So you can lose a big chunk of time if you're not careful on that one.
Yep, and you're supposed to use Monkey to avoid the tidal wave. It's supposed to teach you how to use the Monkey. But, yeah, we just hit him instead. It's great. Okay, so, as we make our way back through the lands that we've already discovered here, this is a good opportunity for a donation break, or if you want to plug the charity, what have you.
Yeah, first backtrack of many that you normally have to do right here.
Yep.
Yeah, actually, I do have a donation for you. Let me see real quick here.
This game suffers from what I call big spritis, or information of the main character
I
sprite.
accidentally did not unmute on Discord, my bad. I have a quick donation for you.
Oh no.
We've got $20 from Nezu TV, who says, "Hey y'all, thank you so much for letting me help out. It's been so much fun getting to know everybody and seeing so many talented runners. This charity is incredible and the marathon is amazing. I've had a blast. Here's a dono to create some chaos in my roommate's run. Let's meet this incentive. Thank you so much for your donation."
Heck yeah.
Awesome, thanks so much.
Yeah, I'm really excited to be here. I haven't, I don't think I've participated in a Speed Stuff event since the 4th one, so it's been a while.
Glad to have you back.
I'm glad to be back.
But back to that big sprite thing, you're absolutely right. So, in the original Super Mario Land, Mario is 2 sprites, side by side, in a square shape. So that's pretty easy to animate. It's pretty small on the screen. Shantae is 20 or 24 different tiles, depending on what frame of animation she's in, and they all combine so well to you know make it look like she's all one sprite. So really well done on that. The problem is when you're going through this desert section. If you played this game as a kid, you probably died at least 3 times here. Because it's very tough to avoid these homing sonic attacks when your sprite is gigantic. And luckily, I need to arrive at Oasis Town on exactly half a heart. So I'm not too worried about taking damage here. I have a little bit too much health. So the next screen will look a little bit better as I run.
Yeah, and getting through the Naga Wasteland is definitely a choke point of the run. Even casually, it's just a nightmare. So there are a couple of ways to go about this section. The way I used to do this was to do a frame-perfect, pixel-perfect damage boost on that first cactus in this area in order to gain invulnerability for the rest of the screen. However, that's slow, and Purple has taken the time to sort out the fastest route through the Ladies' Desert without actually taking any time to.
It's very telling when the frame-perfect,
Yeah,
pixel-perfect strike.
exactly. So, welcome to Item Shop.
Yeah, so this is where we're gonna spend the hard-earned money. We're buying. There's only 3 items that see any use in this speedrun. So we picked up 2 warp candies and a pack of storm puffs. I got some text I have to do. Why don't you take that one away, please?
Absolutely. Yeah, while Purple's speech is being jammed, I can talk a little bit
so
about. Yeah, I can talk about a little bit how the enemies' hitboxes disappear when the enemies are damaged, and so that's Purple's ultimate route.
That's coming up.
Say that one more time.
You might want to do squids instead, because it's coming up.
Yeah, okay, let's see. Right, yeah, it's in this town, isn't it? Okay, so, this is one of the task strats that I was talking about, called Squid Underflow. I was, able to find a way to introduce it to the run and save some time. Essentially what you do is run up to the mother squid while holding B And then, as you die to your, what is it called? Oh gosh, Storm Puff,
yeah.
which is essentially a portable way of dealing damage to yourself. It allows you to die, and then in the middle of the dialogue, you can run up and trigger the dialogue again. So you have 2 dialogue boxes running at once. At the end of the dialogue box, you get the opportunity to place a warp squid in the hut. But since you're running it twice and you only have 1 warp squid, it actually allows you to place the same warp squid twice. And so that means the counter wraps around thanks to underflow, and you basically get more warp squids than are in the game, which therefore allows you to complete the warp squid task. So we're going to be using that dance to get back to this town later on in the run, after we death warp back to the furthest town right.
Yeah, so that
the
one...
routing is a mess.
There's some memory manipulation going on, so I don't know what happened that time, but it worked, so I'm happy with it.
It works, it works.
So we're heading to the second dungeon right now, and it's currently nighttime, which means by the time we get to the third dungeon, it's gonna be daytime. And that's no good, because the third town doesn't actually exist during the daytime. It's the zombie caravan, so they've packed up their stuff and moved. They're gonna set up shop at night. So our day-night cycle's all out of whack right now. So, correct me if I'm wrong, but in the olden days, Shantae, people were just like, well, the time of day is bad, the time of day is bad, and you sit there and you wait.
Yep.
But, turns out you can get there too fast. So I'm getting there too fast right now. So we gotta fix that. We'll fix that in just a second. For now, I'm gonna enjoy some water, hard-earned water.
Yep, this is the only input break in the run. So, as Wrench here, the combination of Wren and Finch, lives up to its name, it's a good hydration reminder. Get some water. Drink with us, chat.
So unfortunately, I took one ouchie too many. I'm gonna grab a heart right here to start.
Yeah, and you're probably attempting elevator skip.
I always do. Oh, and it's a good one.
Yeah, effectively the way that elevator skip works is this game does not check for collision every frame, instead it checks every 16 frames. And so if you fall at just the right time through an elevator at max velocity, it's going to take you only 15 frames to do so. Which means, if you do it just right, you can just phase right through the elevator.
Yeah,
saving quite a bit of time.
Game Boy had some good games on it, but it's not the fastest computer, so they didn't want to have the collision routine running all the time.
Yeah, this game runs at 100% RAM. Do I have that right?
100% CPU time, all the time. A whopping 2 megahertz. Woo! Blazing fast.
They squeezed the Game Boy Color for all it's worth.
And you can really see the results.
Yeah. So this labyrinth's gimmick is magnetism, so if you're the same color as these lightning enemies, then you'll get struck. Otherwise, if you're opposite, then they will avoid you. Also, certain doors open and close for you.
Gonna damage myself down to half a heart here.
Yeah, for a very important reason.
Yeah, storm puffs are already good to go. So that portable damage source is very convenient.
So these storm puffs are not only useful for getting squid underflow, but they're also useful for getting what's originally called storm puff skips, which essentially allow you to skip the dialogue of the genies. As soon as you talk to the genies, they will immediately give you the dance. You don't have to sit through the entire dialogue. So what you do instead is damage yourself out of the cutscene, and then what Purple did is immediately use an exit candy. in order to warp back to the very start of a labyrinth instead of having to fight his way back out. So that's going to save a lot of time.
Yes, avoiding backtracking is a common theme in the game. So now we can turn into an elephant, which walks incredibly slowly, so we're gonna only be an elephant if we absolutely have to, but it lets you smash those stone pillars, various other smashable objects out of the way.
I wish I could update a little bit more in real time on things, because that Magnet Man fight was really good.
Oh, I know. He does not always play nice. So completely RNG where the magnet jumps, and even worse, if he grabs you, he'll forcibly reverse your magnetism, which is, you have to manage that in this dungeon. Otherwise, you have to go find a spot in order to turn back into the right color.
Yeah, and we really want to keep ourselves unmagnetized right now, because if you're not magnetized, then you automatically get the most favorable outcome from every enemy interaction. So all of the zappy enemies will avoid you, all the keys will come towards you,
Yeah, that's great.
all the doors will open, presumably. You don't actually see that in the run.
Yeah, we're going down here to the boss. We grab 2 keys, we're heading to the boss.
Yeah.
This is a tough boss fight. You have to extra focus for that one.
No kidding. And we are currently on half a heart and 0 lives, so literally any damage will give us a game over. So it is...
I mean, normally that's a bad thing. Only in a crazy game like this.
Yeah, exactly.
You hoping for half a heart.
When you got the second elevator skip too.
That one's a little easier. That one's a little
So
easier.
good.
Because it lags a bit.
I think I only got one of those once ever.
Oh. Yeah, you weren't counting
True.
frames the ramp you were open though. Alright, coming off our second boss. It's a toughie.
Yep.
Slam into him with the elephant. That's the damage maneuver we're pulling here.
And again, if I recall, this is not intended strats, but I never learned the intended strats.
Me
So
Alright, here we go.
yeah, this is just the way the fight works.
Oh, okay. I had to think really hard on
Good.
that one. Thanks
Good
for
job.
your patience, guys.
Yep.
Always scary about that one.
That mashing isn't gonna mash itself.
So, like I
Alright,
said
since we-
earlier, Wrench is going to tell us to go to the zombie caravan, but it only appears at night. So it's night right now. By the time we get there, it's going to turn daytime. So first things first, I'm going to get this game over in order to head all the way back to Watertown. So, I mean, you guys saw how much backtracking that this is going to skip.
Yep. Enjoy your clip art.
Oh yeah. And then very conveniently, it's gonna drop us right here in the save room. I'm gonna go ahead and save the game.
May as well. We're here. It's a marathon.
And then I'll actually reset my Game Boy real fast. So that's gonna clear out all the memory. It gets all replaced with zeros. That includes your current time of day. So now we have set it to the start of daytime. Which is perfect, because then when we get to the zombie caravan, it'll turn nighttime.
What a convenient side
I
effect
know.
of being marathon safe. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. So the path to Zombie Caravan is one of the trickier parts of the run, and Purple, the madman, does it all in monkey form. The screen after this one is the one I'm thinking of.
Oh, that's the Snail Desert. No, that one's chill. Whoops.
Yeah, the screen after the screen
screens
after
from
this one is the one I'm thinking of.
Yeah, so one of the good things about this game is that you really get to see a lot of the overworld. So in a lot of games that have really cool glitches, don't get me wrong, they're really impressive glitches, but you know, you don't get to see anything. You kind of just, you know, your N64 makes a buzzing noise, and now all of a sudden you're at the end of the game. But not this one. Luckily, you get to see a lot of unique stuff, especially because there are some enemies. There's a lot of attention to detail in this game. So these snail enemies, these are the only places you're ever gonna see them. So good to see.
They're only ever a threat in the daytime too. They tuck away at night.
I know. So it's a good thing that I guess it's a good thing that we actually get to show off a lot of the love and care that was put into these sprites. The animations as well are fantastic.
Yeah, for real. The only rooms we don't visit in the overworld are a few secret rooms and the rooms that connect the right and left edges of the map. Because once you have enough transformation dances, you can actually literally wrap around the world. Since you're on what's essentially an island. So you're traveling around the outskirts of the island. It's pretty clever. Anyway, this is
not my cleanest platforming, but I don't want to die.
Yeah, I mean, it's still leaps and bounds, no pun intended. Better than any time that I've attempted Monkey.
It's also tough because the next time we need to die is really far away, so you really are trying to minimize the mistakes that you make.
Yeah, and at this point, you do actually want the lives for safety.
I know.
As well.
There's no more game over, so right now if I die, it's just a mistake.
Yeah.
So this graveyard is the last screen before you reach the zombie caravan, and it hasn't turned nighttime yet, so actually I'm getting a little scared. I know.
I think we'll be able to hit it.
Just in the
Imagine
nick of
being
time.
too fast.
Ooh. No, too fast and purple tissue box don't ever go in the same, don't ever go in the same sentence. No, just kidding. So I planned that out and I realized, I'm like, you know, the time it takes to get there is really close to the time it takes to
So now,
nighttime.
after another quick shopping trip, to pick up some fireballs.
Don't buy flash bolts. Yeah, I'm gonna buy one more warp candy and fireballs. Almost bought flash bolts. Almost. And then we're gonna go see another beloved character, the Shantae series, Roddy Tops. There's a lot of Roddy Tops fans out there, but those Roddy Tops fans clearly did not play this game. Because I hate this part.
Yeah, this segment was actually designed by a developer who got so good at this minigame that they ended up tweaking it to the point where it was a nightmare to complete casually. So, if at any point you fail past the halfway point, there's literally no way to catch back up.
Mario Kart Rubber Band's got nothing on this game.
For real.
It also doesn't help that jumping or sliding will slow you down. Those are your two actions in this minigame, but they slow you down. So you want to slide at the last possible moment or stay in the air for the absolute minimum amount of time. But you know, when you're trying to be optimal, sometimes you accidentally run face first into the log because you're trying to slide at the last second. So I'm gonna chill out on that a little bit, because every time you fail this minigame, it's an entire minute. So that's a very expensive minigame to lose if you're me.
I'm gonna go ahead and let you focus.
Nah, I got it. This is the easy part.
Alright. There was one point at which I considered actually taping markers to my monitor that would show me exactly where the obstacles would appear. Alright, there we go. Clean. And so, because we won the race, we actually get to keep our brains, which is very nice. But those. Even better, Roddy Tops is going to open the Cackle Mound for us. And so, Cackle Mound is actually... It's probably the labyrinth that we saved the most time on, just using our items.
Oh yeah, for sure.
We're gonna use exit candies twice in here. And, there are also some puzzles where you have to whip eyes into eye sockets. And there are a couple ways to speed that up. the main one is that for one of them you have to take it out of the socket, put it back in again a few times, and so if you can whip it just the right time, you can actually get the eyeball right back into the socket without having to chase it around the room again. You can do that 3 times, and that saves probably 15,
yeah, the hitbox
10,
on
15
that eyeball is
seconds.
just big enough that it can reach the socket immediately after you knock it out. So-
Otherwise it's a pretty cut and dry labyrinth.
So in this labyrinth, we're going to be learning the spider dance, and very fittingly, the labyrinth is actually kind of shaped like a spider. So this big central room here has a bunch of arms shooting out of it, and then so you go down one path, and then you'll get a key, and then you'll come back to the main room, and you'll spend that key somewhere else, and you go down a different arm, and then you get 2 keys, and then you come back to the main room, and then you go somewhere else.
Yep, half the routing in this labyrinth is just trying to get back out.
So if we can use those exit candies to escape with the key, then we don't need to do the backtracking.
Conveniently enough, exit candies will allow us to do that.
I know. So $40 well spent.
So now that we have a spare key, it is a very good song. Now that we have a spare key, it's a good thing, we hear it a lot.
I know, right?
Now that we have a spare key, we can circumvent have the labyrinth that is meant for you to fight your way back out of.
Yeah.
You can just go directly left from the main room and continue on your way. I should also mention one of the gimmicks of this labyrinth is shadows. You can hide in the shadows, and enemies can't see or touch you. Unfortunately, that is very slow, so we don't ever actually use stealth in this run.
I got 1 out of 3.
That's pretty good. That statue that the eyeball looks at the end of that
oh yeah, I'll go back
puzzle.
to the right here.
Yeah, it's actually who was it?
It's Aaron Boson.
That is Aaron. Okay, that's what I was thinking. So yeah, that's Matt Bozon's wife right there.
Yeah,
He
I
did,
had an interview with both of them for the 20th anniversary of this game.
Yeah,
It
it's
was
up on
really an honor to be
IGN's
there.
channel. You can go check that out if you're interested.
So if you're a fan of the run, or of the game, or of me, you go check out that interview. It's had a lot of fun recording that.
Heck yeah, it was a lot of fun to watch. And both.
Are you a fan of the game or the run, or me?
Just little optimizations like transforming halfway while you're waiting for the key to drop. Little stuff like that. Just so charming in this run, I
when we
think.
get to the top of this room here, we get a sneak peek of the fireballs. So it's a weapon like the Storm Puffs, but it orbits you and it does damage to everyone it touches. So we use it to get rid of this mini boss really fast, but it has a more important use later.
Yep, fireballs are surprisingly utilitarian. So this fight we're coming up on here, at least on my screen, you're already there. This fight you have to whip the head, was it 16 times?
It's a lot
You
of
can,
times.
yeah, you can get up to 8 hits in at the start, which I believe you hit
there's
all
like
of
a
them.
pre-fight animation that they do, but it turns out they're actually vulnerable. And actually, I have too much health. I wasn't paying attention. Should have gotten hit by one of those. Whatever, it's for charity, right?
Yeah. Go slow for charity. That's what I always say.
Yeah. When's that charity getting formed? Slow stuff. We already got the acronym. Slow stuff for charity. 10. There you go.
Perfect. Don't even change the logo. Alright, so we are on our way back with Spider equipped. We go the wrong way in this room to,
Oh, I need to look it.
Yep. And so Spider is arguably the least useful transformation dance in the entire game. Unfortunately, it is required to reach the boss of this labyrinth, unless you're like 10 times frame perfect.
Yeah, I mean, I can
which
be
humans are not.
Frame perfect once, but 10 times is a big ask, even for the best of us. So the spider moves really slowly, just like in elephant form. But Shantae can climb up walls on the background. Honestly, this climbing sprite's a little unsettling, but it gets the job done.
It is. Yeah, and so the spider excels at vertical movement. And since it's our only transformation that can climb walls in this way, it is very useful to us. Until it isn't, which it is going to cease to be useful halfway through the next labyrinth. So enjoy it while you can. There's also, if you transform fast enough in this boss fight, you get the music glitch.
Yeah, this boss
I can't hear the game, so...
He's got 30-something health, probably 32, but luckily dropping him in these holes with the spider does a bunch of damage, so... It's RNG which pattern you get. He's walking to the left, that's a good one. You get to drop him 3 times in a row, which is honestly kind of fun after I wasted 10 years just whacking him with my hair the first time I played this game.
Yeah, I think it's something like 40 hair whips, or you can drop him down the pit 5 times.
I know. No contest.
Nope, not in the slightest.
So, alright. We're 3 labyrinths down.
Yeah.
Feels like I just started this run. But already 3 labyrinths down. And Roddy's gonna tell us... Oh, yeah, remember when you came all the way to the right? To get here, you gotta go all the way back to the left, but... Luckily, we spent so long routing out that warp squid underflow that is finally gonna pay off. So this is the whole reason we did it. Right here.
Yep. And I want to give a special shout out to Grandpa Glasses, a member of the community. I'm not sure where they are right now. I haven't been able to find any of the task video or the task strat videos that I originally learned the strats from. But in an indirect way, those videos are the reason that we can go as fast as we do today.
Oh, yeah. And I mean,
because without that, I wouldn't have been able to incorporate Squid Underflow or Storm Puff.
The Shantae speedrunning community, just in general, was really fantastic place. When I was learning how to play this game, I joined. I'm literally, some punk kid who just started playing the game a couple months ago. And immediately people are like, oh, do you need help with this? Let me send you save states. Let me, give you strats videos. So it was really nice to be welcomed so quickly. Even after I stole everyone's world record, it was still nice to me.
Yeah, the Shantae community is by far one of the best speedrunning communities I have ever experienced. So if you're interested in running this game, plenty of people, or any game in the Shantae franchise,
that's tough.
Plenty of people are out there and willing to assist you. Just give it a quick search on speedrun.com.
Yeah, that was a expensive mistake right there.
Oof.
I know.
I just saw it.
Go swimming.
Oh well, full health.
Actually, oh. Yeah! These
Hooray for safety!
These mud enemies, I guess
you
call
tar
them.
Monsters.
Tar enemies. When they snap up at you, the hitbox is ridiculously tall. It's so tall that even at max height, like Shantae in human form can't jump over them. So we have to use the monkey here. But unfortunately, that carries its own risks, such as not being able to stop in midair, which is what got me killed there. But luckily, in the second half of the game, we are not on the day-night cycle anymore, so, oh, I'm going the wrong way. So, 1 death won't slow us down. Well, it'll slow us down. It won't stop.
So you're supposed to use Spider to get between those two spiked walls. Thankfully, Monkey can just skip that transformation. So it saves 10-15 seconds.
So here
and we're gonna talk to the resident genie here.
Yeah, she's gonna help us out in a little bit.
Yeah, a very kind individual. Not sure why she might suggest that our hair would look better in a bob, but
kind of weird. But oh well. You know,
yeah, it's rather hypocritical.
It takes up too many sprites. She's trying to help out the Game Boy a little bit.
Yeah, reduce the RAM tax.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
So on the way back, we use a spider again to climb up to the top of Mount Pointy for maybe 10 seconds, because any amount of time that you spend in spider form is a very slow amount of time. You're walking at half speed. And then similarly, doing the dance in later Shantae games, I don't think you have to play the rhythm game when you want to transform. Is that right? I've never actually played them.
Yeah, things work a little differently.
Yeah, so transforming doesn't take up too much time in the later ones, but in this one you gotta wait for the entire animation. It takes a while. So anytime you can save a transformation sequence, that's a big plus. So that's just another strike against the spider.
Yep, and we're going to see it used only one more time in the entire run. However, it is going to be worth your while, because it is a pretty good use of spider.
Bittersweet moment for the arachnid fans.
Yes, and I say good with like 3 sets of quote marks. And by good, I mean unintended. So welcome to Twinkle Palace.
Yeah, Twinkle Palace is probably the second hardest labyrinth we go into. Dribble Fountain's the hardest one for sure, and that's at the very beginning, which is, I guess, good and bad for the speedrun. You have these enemies encased in ice, and they will rotate between 3 different sprites, and whenever you break it, that's the one you have to fight. The rock golem dies in 1 hit though, so we want that one every time. No contest there.
Just gotta give it 2 quick ones with the elephant, and you're done. So you wanna talk a little bit about how you discovered the
oh yeah, so the previous
here.
world record before mine would take a death in this. Ooh, we got some nice RNG on this key here. But the previous world record holder would take a death in this dungeon for no reason other than to get a health refill, which I mean is nice because it means you don't have to play perfectly. But I mean it's a death that doesn't save any time, so we want to cut that out if possible. And I was actually at my parents' house in between semesters at school, and I'm practicing this speedrun, and my brother's watching me. And he says, hey, do you think you can jump over these bowling balls? Because normally you'd have to wait in this little cubby right here, and you can see how fast that is, right? And he's like, do you think you can jump over those bowling balls? I was like, oh, I bet you can. So I timed it, and it's not any faster, but it does save a lot of health. So I'm at a part and a half right now, when I'd normally be down at 1. So it means I don't need to take that death for the health refill anymore. So it ends up saving time in the long run. You also saw those strange red, yellow, flashing whirlpool vortices. Those will launch you in a certain direction after you go inside them, but they actually conserve your momentum. So I jumped into it from below, and that's what made Shantae pop up a little bit when she touched the wall, because... Oh, I don't want to go up there. Because she still had some vertical speed left over from when I entered it. We're going to use that again in the next couple rooms. Actually, this one in particular. So there's 2 doors way up here at the ceiling, and Matt Bozon literally described it as it's supposed to be a tease. You're supposed to be able to see the doors, but not enter. But if we enter that whirlpool with running speed, we're able to actually it's not tease anymore. We can actually go there. So it allows us to go in the dungeon, cross the top, instead of going across the bottom, which has a bunch of fights, a bunch of keys you have to get. It's not fun.
Yeah, those slide puzzles, by the way, to get the keys, those are RNG. And the first puzzle was really good. Just one here
all
with
these puzzles have been pretty good so far, I think.
Yeah.
So I've got half a heart too much here. This guy. Alright, we're good to go. One more death when we learn our harpy dance. Have to be careful in this room not to accidentally touch the spikes with that, like, modified momentum that you have.
Yeah, that one's pretty tricky. Alright, final Storm Puff skip of the run.
So I accidentally died in the mud bog, so I'm missing a life here. So that might be a little bit scary towards the end, but we're good for now. The dance that we just got is the harpy dance, and as much as we love the spider, it gets immediately obsoleted because now we can just fly wherever we please.
Yeah, that didn't last long, did it?
I know, and much faster as well. The downside is, if you ever played Joust, the harpy controls exactly like that. So you have to slalom around. You're constantly accelerating and decelerating. It's a little annoying.
Yeah, it's a strange.
That's the price you pay for having effectively
yeah, exactly.
the debug mode.
Minus the phasing through walls part, of course.
Yeah. We don't get the phasing through the walls. So okay, next thing we're gonna do, we're gonna come under here as the monkey and phase through this wall.
Yep. So this is the final use of the spider that we're going to see.
Every time you turn into the
hitbox.
spider, Shantae will turn around, and then we can turn back into the human, which pushes us ever so slightly into a wall, just a little bit more. So if we just do that a couple times, eventually we'll pop out the other side. And so, turns out these labyrinths, the devs have tricked you. The rooms aren't actually separated at all. It's actually one big giant canvas. So once you get out of bounds, you can see there's the next room. The screen just fades to black as you're running through the doorway. So all these rooms are actually here all at the same time. I can go wherever I want as long as I can clip back in. Which is going to be right up here. So normally, there's 2 keys that you pick up at the end of this dungeon to get to the boss. But the first key is way back at the start, and I'm kind of broke and I ran out of exit candies, so instead we gotta clip out of bounds.
Which fortunately is a good exhibition of the things you can do in this game.
I know. Get a fun little palette glitch as we open that
It
door
really
as well.
truly has everything.
Final boss of the game, and interesting, Risky's not here to try and snag it, so we got it all to ourselves as soon as we fight this dragon enemy. So this is, if you thought the game was like Joust before, now it really gets exactly the same. So we got a pogo on this guy's head 3 times and it'll fall to the ground.
Yep, if Joust had a boss, this would be it.
So part of the challenge of this is that it's first off, it's just difficult to control. The dragon will try to get above you, so if you miss your chance to hit him, he'll fly up to the ceiling, and then you can't. You missed your chance. You gotta wait for him to go back down. And then also, you can skip Shantae's landing animation if you land straight down. So you're trying to hit him at just the right angle so that you can bop him 3 times in a row really fast, but you're also falling straight down as you hit the ground. So it's a little tricky. Luckily that one went pretty well.
Yeah, nice fight.
Here. Alright, we're gonna grab our last relic, and we did it! We've saved the world! Risky doesn't have a
Hooray.
single one to her name. Oh my goodness, grape juice? That was her the whole time! No!
What?
We've been tricked.
Nobody saw this coming.
I know.
Including both of us, our first playthroughs.
Don't say that out loud. Yeah.
I mean,
Listen, there's only so many colors on the screen. NPCs start looking the same after a while. I didn't notice.
Yeah, it's fine.
Alright, so Shantae's gonna tell us to go back to Scuttle Town to talk to Mimic. But then Mimic's just gonna tell us to go to Oasis Town, so we might as well cut out the middleman and go straight there ourselves. Very convenient
Thanks,
that that's
Mimic.
the only warp dance that we actually have.
It's pulling double duty there.
I know. He just kind of says, like, yeah, just go fly up in the sky. I don't even know if he says in the desert. I think he just says go fly up in the sky. So, alright, that's what I'm gonna
Yeah,
do.
just fly around, see what you can find.
So Shantae says this is the spy scope she keeps hearing about. I don't know where she heard about it, because this is the first time it shows up. You
Yeah,
didn't
I
miss
think it's
anything.
the first time it's actually mentioned too.
So it can teleport us to Risky's hideout. A little too many sprites on the screen. They can't all
Yeah,
fit there at the
and
same
this
time.
is as was it Matt who said this was? Yeah, literally,
It's the Dr.
literally
Wily
just
Castle,
Wily.
yeah.
And
Felt the
it's
thread.
appropriate because this is kind of the final gauntlet for using all of the transformation dances
Yeah.
that you learn across the run. Unfortunately, the spider gets left out. Yeah.
Yeah, too slow.
Also, unfortunately for us, the segment that the spider gets left out of is not easy with anything else. So, it's
Oh, yeah.
it's specifically designed for you
It's
to
tough.
climb on the background and avoid a bunch of, random floating platforms with spikes on them. However, as we said, spider is slow, so we use Harpy instead. I actually used Harpy casually myself. I didn't realize you were supposed to use spider. Yes.
You made a mistake.
And so,
I think I did too, and I died immediately. And I was
Yeah.
like, maybe I shouldn't do
and
this.
so what you have to do, because that room is so laggy, it's not a question of if, it's a question of when it will drop your inputs. And so what you have to do is cluster.
Yeah, this whole section in general has a lot of, because it's supposed to be like super powered with steam energy, so there's a lot of particle effects, there's a lot of color changes, a lot of explosions, so it's a very laggy area in general. So in that Sonic
Yeah.
Spinball section, I try to find the perfect angle that I don't, like, you kill just enough enemies to lose the lag, but not enough that you have to wait to get up. Oh, okay, we're good. So you gotta like triple tap the A button every time you want to flap your wings. And that's not even enough sometimes.
Yeah.
The game will drop all three if it feels like it.
It's like
But
triple
we made it that
redundancy.
time.
You've got a good shot. But yeah, I have lost runs there. I have game overed there.
Yeah. Luckily, if you do die, it just drops you right back into that section. So it's not like, the game becomes totally unplayable if you die there. But
Yeah,
it
it's
is a
almost
big time
like they
loss.
knew.
Yeah, playtesters died so many times there.
Right. So,
Alright, we got one last big text box. Risky's about to drop
Don't
us
forget to
into
run.
a big super weapon.
Thank you.
You want me to run over to the right for you?
I always like to do this in my marathon runs.
Yeah, so she dropped you down the pit, but the dropping down part's hard-coded, so straight through the floor. And at this boss, this is the hardest boss in the game.
Shantae's final phasing trick.
Yeah, I know. The hardest boss
Yeah,
in the
Tinker
game,
Tank.
we need to crawl through a bunch of tight spaces, and then while we're in there, we attack some of the gears of the Tinker Tank. But the problem is, you need the monkey to crawl through the space, but then you can't attack the gear anymore. So you have to swap back and forth between monkey form and human form. Which is why I brought out the fireballs to help me out with that. And unfortunately, my input got eaten a little bit. Big laggy area, you can tell. With all the stuff going on.
Yeah.
So the
No
whole
fun.
strategy of this section is to use the fireballs to basically allow the monkey to attack.
very nice sequence of events there.
Yeah.
I just saw like 5 seconds ago because I'm slow. So yeah, those gears, these gears that you have to destroy. A lot of runners thought that they had bad hitboxes, but what the actual case is that it was hard-coded that you have to be within 32 pixels of the gears in order to damage them.
Yeah, one of the playtesters figured out that you could actually hit the gears from the outside. And they're like, no, we want to force the player to have to go in there. And so they made it so that, yeah, okay, this is how we're gonna fix it. You have to be close. And then you can also see that after we destroy something, there's a small cutscene, but I'm dancing again. It's just another time save to be able to use those cutscenes appropriately. So, not my
There are a lot of ways to
cleanest
optimize Tinker
fight.
Tank.
And we move into the final boss. We've been watching Risky die to random golems and squids and mechanical beings all game. Now she's gonna die to us.
Thank goodness the Tinker Tank head didn't land on her this time.
I know.
Alright, so for a while this fight was thought to be RNG with how it worked.
Yeah, just
But
what
it
you want
turns
to
out-
hear. RNG at the very end of the run.
Yeah, ain't it swell. If she pulls out her gun, she will actually fire a random amount of times at you. And that is RNG. However,
Yeah, you can see how many times
she
she's
will-
attacking now.
yeah,
And they are very
she will
long
never
attacks.
she will never attack you if you remain at a certain distance from her, or if you attack her before about what did we decide
It's
to
not even
a little
3
over 2
seconds. You got
seconds.
3 seconds to run over and hit her before. And you can't get too close either. So there's a 10 pixel range where you can stand and hit her, and she won't do an attack. Clearly, I was outside the 10 pixel range there. It's very difficult to get the spacing just right. There's not really a good visual key. You just have to know how far Shantae can reach. And clearly, I don't. Clearly, I don't. All right.
Okay.
And that's another reason we use the fireballs too. You get to stay far away.
Yeah, the old route got 2 packs of fireballs,
Still be able to hit her.
and that's the main reason.
Mm-hmm. To try to cut down on those attacks as much as we can, but then we figured out, hey, you really only need 1, because then you don't have to find 20 extra gems somewhere in the dungeons. Alright, we have
Exactly.
this little escape sequence as Risky's going down in flames. Unfortunately, it's not as dramatic as they would have hoped because there's no fireballs over here on the right side of the screen. And actually, time's coming up soon. As soon as you hear the last note of the victory jingle as we escape the volcano, that's time. Alright, time.
Well played.
Thank you very much.
GG.
So there you go. That's Shantae in. I said hopefully a little over an hour. Was I right? How we do?
Looks like a 105.11 on my end, if I'm timing that right.
Oh. 11 seconds off. All right, $30 it is. I'll put that in right after this.
You know, not long ago, 105 flat was thought to be the human best. So,
Oh yeah, you can
you know,
see
now
that
the
was
record's
definitely not.
102. It's pretty
Oh yeah,
amazing.
that 102 is very, very optimized. That I will probably never get close to that again.
So we're just gonna go through the ending cutscene here.
Yeah, you guys want to talk about charity or donations or what have you as I go through this last cutscene?
Yeah, actually, that's perfect timing because we actually did get another donation that I wanted to read for you quickly.
Awesome.
We got $10 from Xlight, who says, "All hail the Assembly King himself, Chase from work."
Yes!
Hey, we went through an entire run without you mentioning assembly once. That's pretty good.
I know. That's the only time that'll ever happen.
Oh no!
We just ruined it at the end though.
And I guess real quick too, we do still have some donation incentives open. The closest one that's coming is the Hatsune Miku incentive for enabling the hand cam. It's at $20 out of the $125 that we need to hit that. So definitely get your donations in for that. And
Oh heck yeah! Please do hit that.
one last thing is we do have a slight schedule change. which is good for you guys. We're actually going to be adding in
Yep.
Lena's Inception after this run from Linka Meister. So,
Ooh, awesome.
Alright, perfect. Now I do want you to hear a little bit of the credit music at the very least.
Yeah, the music in this game was by Jake Kaufman. Went on to do probably most famous for Shovel Knight soundtrack, but it's really well done, especially on a Game Boy Color, because do not have a lot of processing power.
Yeah,
to
if I
run the
recall
music
right,
with.
I think Jake was still a teenager when he made this entire soundtrack, and he was so prolific they actually had to cut some songs from the game because it took up too much memory.
Mm-hmm. All right, Matt and Aaron Boson, there they are. Jimmy Huey's gonna be here too. He's the programmer. Wrote this whole game in assembly. Very impressive.
Yeah, and he's the one to blame for the 33 pixel away gear issues in Tinker Tank.
So I'd love to be able to talk to him, but thanks so much for joining us, everyone. Had a great time. Honored to be here.
Heck yeah, I had a blast. I know I was a little tired. I'm
for
glad
sure.
I made it through. I woke up about 5 minutes before this run, so that was fun. That was an experience.
Yeah, we're glad you did. So if you want to pick up this game, like I said, Shantae speedrunning community is fantastic. They'd easily reach out to help you if you had any problems. And like I said, I had a fantastic time playing this for the first time. Even more fun speedrunning it now. So really, really positive journey I had with this game. Thanks for watching.
Yeah, if you want to run it on if you want to run the original game, you're either going to have to find a copy, which is several $100s, or you can pick it up for $10 on Nintendo Switch.
Yeah, just recently came out for the Switch. And also, it
Yeah.
just recently came out for Game Boy Color again. That was really neat.
That
so
is
you can
right.
buy it on real hardware. It's been official reproduction. I thought that was really cool. Because I'm
Yeah,
a real
it's-
hardware fan. We're both of us are.
It really shows how amazing the Shantae community is and how well WayForward treats their fans. So that's just about it. I
Yeah.
don't have anything else to say. I think
We're
we've
landing here on the end screen. Once again, thanks for tuning in, everyone. Check out that interview if you want to see some more behind the scenes kind of stuff. If you like that. And had a
By all
blast. being
means,
here.
I
Thanks so
recommend
much
it.
for having us.
take care, everyone. Enjoy the rest of the marathon.